Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Storme, and I'm your host. I want to say thank you so much for pushing play on another episode, and welcome to all of the new subscribers. And you know what? You've come at a great time because this podcast episode is going to help you call in more referrals for the new year. Yes, can you believe 2021 is almost behind us? Sorry, the years just feel like they've been running into each other. It all feels like a bit surreal and a bit of a blur, doesn't it? But we need to get our marketing plans sorted out so that you don't come back to an empty or a sparse diary in the new year. And in the ACPPO, the Australian Counsellors in Private Practice Online, what I'm becoming acutely aware of is that a lot of people don't have marketing plans. They're just kind of posting anywhere and everywhere and asking each other what's the best platform to be on to get referrals. And, you know, I just want to save you all a headache, because if you don't have a marketing plan and if you don't know how to get your referrals, you're going to keep yourself very busy creating content, whether it's in Canva or wherever. You're going to be very busy posting it on all the different platforms, whether that's Psychology Today or your socials or your emails or everything like that. And do you know what? You're not going to get results. It's that simple. And it's totally not your fault that you don't have a marketing plan, or that you don't really know what a marketing plan looks like for private practice. But don't worry, you've got me. If that's something that you need to get in place now for your business, hit pause on this podcast, scroll down to the show notes and go and book your complimentary call. You're not going to be sold anything, but I can absolutely point you in the right direction. And if I do have something that could help you, of course, I'm going to share it with you, not without your permission. But I think if you continue to go on and you say, I'm not going to get help, I'm not going to get guidance on this, I know what I'm doing because I'm just in all the counselling groups and everybody else is doing this, so it must be working. Good luck to you. I'm sure you'll be back in 12 months' time not having gotten much further. The other thing that I find very interesting is people without a marketing plan. Not only are they posting on all the wrong places and keeping themselves busy and exhausted and trapped in that cycle of, you know, I hate marketing doesn't work, I'm no good at marketing. It's none of that. I want you to know very, very clearly that marketing gets to be simple, it gets to be fun, it gets to be really easy, and it gets to be very, very effective. You just need to know what to do. But the other thing that I'm always so curious about is counsellors especially asking each other for advice about how to go and have a GP meet and greet. I don't understand why. I mean, there are people in very niche areas with their counselling practice that have nothing to do with medicine, but they're going off to doctors and they're asking everybody in the groups, how do you get in to see a doctor and what should I take with me and all of this sort of stuff. They haven't even stopped to think about whether a doctor is going to be a relevant referral source for them. But it's another example of what happens when you don't get help. So you've got a choice. You can cough up a bit of money now and get your marketing plan done and then manifest referrals into the new year and ongoing, because you'll know how to do it then. It'll be really easy for you. Or you can stay in this cycle. So what I wanted to do today was teach you a little bit about how you can improve your marketing. And this is something that isn't discussed by a lot of other coaches, but you know me, I'm not other coaches. I'm going to give it to you straight and always through a loving spiritual lens, even though what I say sometimes is hard sometimes to hear. But when that happens for you, I want you to know that that's a sign of your growth, okay? When I say things that are difficult for you to accept or hear or believe or things like that, that's good, because now your mind is starting to crack open a little bit and you're starting to be a little bit expansive and you're starting to think about things differently and in a new way. And that's exactly what we want. We want you breaking old habits. And the only way we can do that is to, well, present you with different evidence, present you with different information, present you with different perspectives. Anyway, so I want to share with you a key, if you like. I don't like that word. It sounds very salesy, and this isn't a sales podcast, but it's a key to me because it was one of the things that really helped me unlock the process of getting referrals. And there are so many different aspects to getting referrals, as you know, if you're in the group. But one of them is making sure that your practice is actually referable. And when I have conversations with men and women in that group and I say, well, is your practice referable? They don't even know what that means. So I thought it might be helpful to share what it means so that you can assess your practice against some of these criteria. And hopefully you will be able then to make the changes that you need to make on your own without me, but you should be able to go and make the changes you need to make and then start your marketing, with these new updates and start to call in some new referrals. That's my intention that I've set for this podcast. So there are 4 things, really, 4 elements to knowing whether or not you're referable. So yeah, go and get your pen and your paper or your Remarkable or your iPad, whatever you're using. The first thing is to understand how your practice is different, okay? And by that, I mean, so many of us do counselling and psychology and social work, right? And you've heard me talk about this before, so I'm not going to go into it, but understanding how you're different is going to help your business be spoken about, okay? It's going to help your business be seen as trustworthy because it stands out. It's going to give referrers, so referrer being, someone asked me what a referrer was the other day. A referrer is anyone that sends work your way, that sends an inquiry or a booking or an appointment or a client your way. They're called a referrer. So for somebody to be able to refer to you, right, they need to know why they're referring to you. And the only reason they're going to know why they're referring to you instead of me or instead of John or instead of Jane is because you do something that John, Jane and I don't, okay? And this is what I've alluded to in previous episodes, where if you're saying that you treat every condition under the sun, anxiety, depression, confidence, self-esteem, weight, trauma, PTSD, and you work with children, preteens, teens, early adults, women, men, families, couples, blah, 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 the age, then nobody knows why they'll refer to you, and your details will just be discarded by that referrer because why would they refer to you? Whereas somebody would refer to me, for example, if they had a client that really wanted to create a private practice through a spiritual lens, integrating the masculine drive with that feminine, divinity and all of those sorts of beautiful, energetic things, okay? So that's why somebody would come to me. If there are 10 different private practice coaches and nearly all of them provide the strategy and the process, and they do it in a very corporate way, very official, formal business executive type way, and they've got a client that's like, that doesn't really roll with me, I don't really like that approach, then somebody can say, well, there's Brooklyn and she loves Oracle and Tarot, and she loves energy, and she loves integrating all of this and helping people use this to create their private practice. How does that sound? That's going to make you so much easier to refer to because you stand for something, right? Otherwise, you're just going to get lost in the white noise. So that's the first thing. Make sure you're different, and you have to understand what your point of difference is, okay? And you all have one. I think it's fear and scarcity that keep you locked into this trap of thinking you have to say that you're very general in order to get more work, but it doesn't work like that. That's faulty thinking. Okay, the next thing is you need to have something that's worthwhile, okay? It's got to be seen as being of value to the person that's making that referral, okay? So you've got to be able to, this isn't the right language, but, it's very early in the morning and I need more coffee, but you've got to be able to help people fix something or correct something or get a transformation or take away a pain or move them towards pleasure. That is the value. Nobody's signing up for counselling. Nobody's signing up for coaching. No one's signing up for your program. People aren't Googling, counselling and programs and all this at 3 a.m. People are trying to get help. So be clear about what you help them with and stop saying it's everything, because you're only leaving money on the table. You're not helping anyone by saying that you do everything, okay? So you have to know, of course, how you help and who you help and all of that sort of stuff. But when we think about how valuable are you to a referrer, get into the referrer's state of mind. Think about it this way. If I said to you, can you please refer, 5 people today to listen to my podcast, right? What would make that valuable for you? And by that, I mean, what would make it worthwhile for you to do that? So for example, if you had a service and you said to me, hey, if you've got any clients, can you send them my way? What would make it valuable or worthwhile to me is it's going to make me look good because I'm referring my client on to the best trauma therapist, and or it's going to make me feel good because I'm connecting the person with someone who I know and believe can support them in the next stage of their therapy journey, or it's going to be easy for me to make that referral because I know exactly the easiest way to do it, and I know that you're going to stay in touch with me and give me some follow-up, pending client consent to do that and all that sort of jazz. But think about, what benefits does the referrer get from referring to you? What is in it for the referrer? And I'm not saying you have to pay them or bribe them or give them stuff. You don't. But ask yourself, what's in it for somebody to refer to me? What are they going to get out of it? And maybe use that as a journal prompt. Another journal prompt you could use is, how many ways could I make referring to me valuable or meaningful or easy or whatever it is for a referrer, okay? Be expansive. Open your mind to this, because as soon as a referrer sees that there's value for them in getting a referral across to you, you're going to be more likely to get referrals from them, okay? Now, the next thing is you need to be relatable. Okay, so to give you a very practical example of this, every week I invite a handful of people to have a website assessment, and we go over their website and they get some feedback and then they can go away and make some changes. One of the things that really bothers me when I look at a therapist's website, regardless of whether you're a social worker, a psych, or a counsellor, or a coach, is when I jump on the website, number one, there's no photo above the fold. Number two, the person's written about themselves in the third person and they're a solo practitioner. A bit like me saying, Brooklyn lives on the Mornington Peninsula and Brooklyn uses this approach, and Brooklyn, it's weird. Why are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. And at the same time, many of these therapists are also saying on their website that they value connection and they value authenticity, but they're putting up this wall between them and the client by talking about themselves in a third person. It sounds like there's somebody else in between you and the client who's like emceeing the website. It's weird. I don't understand why that happens. And those people don't get the work to the same level or the same rate as other people who say, I, together, we, or that sort of language. So that's the first thing. It's very hard to relate to someone if they're not 100% there because they've got this third person language happening on their website. And it's very hard to relate to someone without a photo. It's also very hard to relate to someone who's got a professional photo on their website. There's two schools of thought about this. For me, because I work with business owners, like I work with you guys, and you all have private practices, so you're all business owners. So for me, fine, I can go and put a nice, I've got my headshot. It was taken 2 years ago. I've got that. I'm still using that. Hopefully I can get another 6 months out of it. But I have that. It's professional and it works for a business to business relationship, right? It wouldn't be okay for me to just have a selfie on there and say it's going to cost you 15 grand to work with me or 20 grand or whatever the price is going to be. There's an expectation that I'm going to show up for you a certain way. And if I don't, then I'm going to lose your interest and you're going to click off my page. It's the same for your clients. If you have counseling clients, for example, that are not corporate or executive or something like that, why you put in your LinkedIn photo that's very corporate and executive on a website that's all about working with trauma? Doesn't make sense. You need to be relatable, and so showing the real you in a way that's comfortable for you, like a picture of you outside just wearing regular clothes is great, because that's going to show them that you're a real person and you get it. I think one of my most popular click-through pages on my so I update my website every 3 months. But one of my most click-through pages had a selfie that I'd taken. Well, I set up my tripod with the timer on my iPhone for like 10 seconds. And then I quickly ran in front of my camera and hugged my dog. And so it was like this picture of Gabe and I. So I wasn't in a suit or anything like that, but that got more traction than a professional headshot. So being relatable is so important. It aligns with your value of being authentic. It aligns with your value of being real. Don't worry too much. I can give you another example. Earlier this week, I wrote this really great email. I loved it. I was so happy about it. I sent it off, and then, pretty much straight away, my inbox started going bing, 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 with all these notifications. And no word of a lie, there was probably nearly about 100 emails from people saying there was nothing in that email. Apparently, MailChimp, I had done something where MailChimp had sent it off, and I hadn't saved the content. I don't even know how it happened. It was dead embarrassing. But you know what? I sent a follow-up email about an hour after that. So what I did was I wanted to make it up to people because I didn't want to look unprofessional and da-da-da-da-da. So I recorded them a really quick manifesting meditation so they could fill their diaries. And I said, hey, I'm so sorry about that. It's so embarrassing and I'm really sorry this happened. Here you go, grab this free meditation and fill your diary with my thanks and apologies, And it was so beautiful because then, the same people wrote back and said, oh my gosh, don't worry, it's happened to me before. You're fine, da-da-da-da-da. And it became a source of a deeper connection in a way, because we all got to have a bit of a laugh about it. They got to see, yeah, she's a real person too. And then I shared it on in the group, in the Facebook group, and people were saying, oh my gosh, it's not just me. I've done the same thing. So I want you to understand that by just being yourself and owning it, it's not going to cost you business. It's never going to be as bad as you think. So stop thinking that things need to be a certain way. They don't. The only way things need to be is real. Okay, real, and you value the realness. And how are you going to have a therapeutic relationship with someone without you showing up in a way that feels real and aligned and authentic for you, right? If you're going to show up that way in your session, please show up that way in your marketing and how you engage with your beautiful audience. And the last thing is we need to know that it's safe to refer to you. Okay, so referrers need to know it's safe to refer to you. So if you're in a counselling group, right, maybe it's Counsellors Connect Australia, or maybe it's in the ACPPO with me or something like that, and you've got a referral that you want to send out, and you get 10 people say, yes, I work with trauma. I'm just using this for an example today for some reason, but you say, okay, I've got this referral. It's for the peninsula in the southeast. It's for a lady who needs help working with trauma. Please let me know if you have capacity to take anybody on. Now, let's imagine you put that post out. 10 different therapists reply to that post. Who are you going to refer to? What goes through your mind when you're choosing which of the 10? Now, this is a really interesting journal prompt as well. It's not really I don't have a sentence for you, but it's something I want you to think about. What's important to you? Oh, here you go. You can use this as a journal prompt. What do I look for when making referrals to other therapists or to other counsellors? What do I look for? So for me, if I'm referring, I'm going to look and see that they've got a decent website, that they're relatable. I'm going to see if they've got their origin story on there because I want to know who they really are. I'm going to see if they have experience, or I'm going to look to see if they've got results. I'm going to look to see what the general vibe is of their practice based on their website. If they've got testimonials or reviews or case studies or something like that, I'm going to take them into consideration. I'm going to look at their availability, all of that sort of stuff. But what are you going to look at? And I'm going to think in my mind, if there are, of the 10, maybe there are 4 that I would consider referring to. I'm then going to think which one would be the best match for my client. Which one would I feel safe referring to that wasn't going to ruin my reputation? So that's kind of what goes through my mind. What's going to be the best fit for the client, and what's going to be the best fit for me as a professional that I can refer confidently. Does this person have a booking process that's really easy, or do they only have a contact form? And I know my trauma client's going to have to sit there and go back and forward on email 5 or 6 times, and she's not in the headspace to do that, versus someone who's got a book here button, and I can help my client and I can book in that first session for my client while she's with me. You know what I mean? So ease of referral is something that's important to me. I'll refer to you if it's easy. If you've just got that contact form and it's going to be emails, I'm not doing it. So think about what would be valuable to you as a referrer, referring someone on. What are you going to look for? Okay. And with that information, after you've done your free writing and your brainstorming there, once you've got that information, apply it to your private practice and see if you tick your own boxes. Okay, these are simple things, 4 simple steps that are going to make it easy for people like me or doctors or whoever you're getting your referrals from to refer to you. Okay, and then for a 5th tip, for some little bonus tip, think about gratitude. I mean, like attracts like. We want to put the nice vibe out. You want to keep that referral source flowing. Okay. So think about, what can you do to express gratitude to someone for sending you a referral? Because now that someone sent you a referral, this is your chance to build a relationship with them. Okay. Get to know them, get to know their business, get to know what sort of clients they typically deal with, get to know them and understand them so that you can provide things that they're going to get use from and value from. And this will help you keep that stream of referrals coming. But if you just receive a referral and never speak to that referrer again, they're never going to refer to you again. You need to have a follow-up process in place as part of your client relationship management. You need to have, and this is what's missing. If you don't have a marketing plan, you don't know this stuff, and that's why you're not getting referrals. So anyway, look, I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to overwhelm you, but they're the 5 steps. You need to have something different to everybody else. You need to show that you're valuable. You need to be relatable. And you need to convey that I can have confidence in referring to you, okay? Or your product or your service or whatever it is that you're trying to get referrals for. And the 5th one, as we just mentioned, is the follow-up. How are you going to express gratitude, and what's follow-up and all of that sort of jazz. Now, it is the 1st of December today. Congratulations, pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. If you want to get the ball rolling on your marketing plan for your private practice, I can help you do that. And it's not overwhelming, it's not going to be hard, and it's going to give you peace of mind. It's going to save you a whole lot of time. You're not going to have to be building a whole lot of stuff on Canva. You're not going to have to be posting everywhere. Imagine all the hours you'll be able to save. You're not going to need subscriptions to everywhere. Imagine all the money that you're going to save. If you're not spending all that time trying to write content and posts and all of that and not get results, that's time you could be billing or helping someone or receiving something into the practice or working on the practice rather than in it. Then hit pause, scroll down, book that complimentary call and get yourself sorted out. Payment plans are available. I want you to know that next year gets to be the easiest year in private practice for you. But guess what? Waiting manifests more waiting. I know, right? Waiting manifests more waiting. So I look forward to connecting with you. I hope this episode was super duper helpful. I need to go now because I've got my very first client of the day about to turn up in 15 minutes, but I'll get this out to you. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a beautiful Wednesday, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.